Crowder's lost his YouTube channel, and I guess now he's trying to speedrun how fast he can get kicked off of YouTube again. With his video live, Crowder recreates the George Floyd arrest. This is going to be interesting. Except not. Also, can I just say, I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now, it is LARPing to constantly be wearing your fucking, like, gun holster shit. I've been noticing him doing this a lot more lately, and honestly, it's kind of sad. Like, nobody should be this scared of everybody around them.
I don't buy it. It's time for me to go outside and live on concrete. Neon neck / shoulder for 9 minutes.
Okay. Why is that so low?
Okay, so for people who what we're going to do here...
Crowder, you are low. I need to fix that. I don't want to fix that, but I'm going to be honest. Of all the things that I wanted to have louder in my ear, I did not want louder with Crowder louder in my ear, but...
Here, and again, like Gerald just set up, hopefully Lando gets back from his pee, or otherwise he just doesn't want to be involved with this segment.
Yeah. I'm out. I'm out.
Look, this is right here because we did this last week where I showed you, as someone who, and a lot of people out there, you can comment.
So I'm just going to go and say right now, I'm stuck on this. I'm stuck on the weapon holsters for now, for some reason. Isn't it weird that, like, when he's outside, where the guns would be potentially more useful to protect yourself, that's when he stops using them? That's just weird.
If you've been involved with any grappling sports, these aren't uncommon positions, right? Pinning positions.
Yeah.
We did it in the studio, and people say, well, that was on carpet, and you didn't do it for that long. I don't want to do this, but again, the point is the drugs, the agitation, the actively resisting arrest, the 3.5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl matters. I don't expect this to be pleasant, but...
So, what is Steven Crowder trying to accomplish with a video like this? He's going to try to say he's trying to point out, via doing this, which, by the way, is not necessarily a controlled experiment, this is just LARPing, but he's trying to say, via this, that he knows more about George Floyd's death than what was determined by an official autopsy. So, a couple of things. First of all, if memory serves, wasn't it determined that asphyxiation was the actual cause of death for George Floyd? Let me check real quick. Let's go ahead and check just to be certain. And of course, the cause of death is being at the heart of the arguments in the Derek Chauvin trial right now. But everybody in the chat is saying that asphyxiation was, in fact, the cause of death. Conclusion due to the heart failure differs from the one reached for the independent examiner hired by the Floyd family that reports. Okay, so there's an independent examiner that listed the cause of death as asphyxiation from sustained pressure. There's another autopsy report from the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office that concludes that the death was cardiopulmonary arrest, complicating law enforcement, subdual, restraint, and neck compression. So, in either of these cases, whether it be asphyxiation or cardiac failure, we recognize that the cause, the thing that actually elicited this death, was the pressure being put on the back of his neck. Whether it suffocated him or whether it caused him to have, cardio arrest, it doesn't matter. Because in both of these cases, with both medical examiners, the conclusion is that Derek Chauvin is the one who exacerbated things to the point where the person died. This is like when you try to argue that, oh no, you didn't die because I stabbed you, you died because you bled to death. If you were bleeding to death in any other scenario, you would have died anyway. And yeah, while that's technically true, the bleeding to death wouldn't have been a fucking problem if the stabbing didn't happen. So do you have any idea where they get this 3.5 times the lethal dose from? Let's see here. Let's see here. 3.5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl. George Floyd. Let's see what this is coming from. Oh boy. Toxicology report made public by the Minnesota prosecution reveals the cause of George Floyd's death was a fentanyl overdose, is what PolitiFact is going to try to push, is going to try to argue against. And the autopsy... Okay, here's what the autopsy reports show. And I'm sorry I don't have this on screen, I'm looking on my phone. 2 autopsy reports said the manner of George Floyd's death was a homicide. Neither said the cause of his death was fentanyl overdose. The Hennepin County medical examiner found fentanyl in Floyd's system, but the autopsy shows his cause of death was cardiopulmonary arrest, complicating law enforcement's dual restraint and neck compression. The exact same thing that I just pointed out earlier. Experts told the Washington Post they did not believe George Floyd died of fentanyl. So basically what's happening here is, did he have fentanyl in his system? Yes. Was it an inordinate amount of fentanyl? I don't know. But at the end of the day, medical experts are basically pointing out that without Derek Chauvin doing his thing, Floyd would still be alive. So, I don't know why they keep trying to point out the fentanyl thing when the medical examiners have determined elsewise. But then again, remember, Steven Crowder will argue that he's not an expert on these things, but then he will argue as if he is an expert on all of this shit.
But I think that people need to see what it's like with the closest to, controlled conditions that we can recreate as far as body mass, weight, situation, to see what it actually might be like if someone is not.
Also, I wasn't just reading a case title. I literally was reading the summation that PolitiFact had on that. That wasn't a case title. No part of what I read was a case title, for the person in the chat arguing that I was just reading a case title.
In an agitated, significantly overdosed state. That's the reason for this, and no camera tricks, no cuts. I believe you'll have me on the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm going to lay down here. We'll have people restrained. So Token is...
Oh, you got to step back towards the building there. You're going out of range. There you go. Step back towards...
is it the microphone that's out of range?
Right
okay, there you go. 193 pounds, and Token, you can see right here, is 195 pounds.
Well, the cops look fake as fuck because they are. This is his fucking studio staff. Like, that's what it is. We're gonna fast forward to the points that actually matter. He's so happy that this is happening. Not really. He claims that he doesn't want to do this and claims that he's not happy doing this, but I'm gonna be honest. I am thoroughly convinced that where Steven Crowder is concerned, he enjoys doing this because he knows how much it riles people up and how much money it makes him.
Right back.
There you go. Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
Let me know when you guys are ready to start.
All right,
the timer.
I'm ready to go when you are.
Yep.
He's got to pee. How do you think George Floyd felt?
Stop it.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well, hold on a second. They didn't say they started the timer.
We're ready when you are.
Ready? And 3, 2, 1.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Timer down.
Neil.
Neil.
Kneel on my neck here, shoulder.
Oh, pause the timer.
Oh my goodness.
It's okay.
There we go.
So,
Now I'll roll it
It's
back.
actually more uncomfortable for me because I have a bad shoulder.
so wait, hold on. Do you guys notice a difference here? Do you guys notice maybe a little bit of an inconsistency? Most of this knee is resting on the shoulder. It's the calf here that's on the fucking neck. But most of the knee is resting on the shoulder. He had
Neil.
the picture
Two.
up
They
earlier.
didn't say they-
The knee is directly on the neck here. Whereas here, the knee is on the shoulder and the calf is on the neck. Yeah, this is not the same position.
Oh, pause the timer.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah, he's also putting weight on his toes there, too.
Shoulder right now is popped out of the socket, but
It's
that has
5
nothing to do-
seconds.
Like, if he were to let this go completely and let his body weight down, maybe.
Seconds in and you don't like it.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
of course I
no,
don't.
of course.
Already complaining.
Hey, you know what, Dave? Sometimes you deserve to be arrested.
That's true.
He's specifically meaning you, Dave.
No,
And
and
by the way, I think,
my response is agreement.
I think they were lower on the legs there, bro.
Dude's literally leaning back onto his feet. Like he's resting on his fucking the back of his leg.
Brendan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think they were more like on the hamstring area.
Okay.
All right.
There you go. So uncomfortable position for sure. It's supposed to be a restraint. Steven, can you talk to us a little bit? Can you breathe?
Yeah, no,
just
I
fine?
can talk to you. I have more of a spasm in my neck because my neck's been sore for a couple of days.
Okay.
Like I said, what really hurts is my left shoulder just because of a nagging shoulder injury and the fact that Tokunawan put the cuffs on my forearms, not on my wrist.
Again, he did that?
Yeah, he put them on perpendicular
He did it on
to
purpose.
where my wrist goes as opposed to actually putting them. So he made it needlessly unpleasant. Thanks for that, Tokunawan.
Is this how he was cuffed then? Do we have it properly?
I think it was properly. Well, I think what he's saying
think
is
they
that
cuffed
his is
properly.
worse. Yeah,
I think
Steven's
they
is
cuffed
worse.
Floyd.
Okay, so if the entire video is gonna go like this, let's keep going and see.
Back
Yeah,
up,
pull the
then-
photo if there are any changes that
I
need
don't
to
want
be
to
made.
cover up the
Those-
Okay,
screen.
yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, good idea. I was just seeing if somebody
Here,
could look
I can put it in the
offline.
lower third. Give me a second.
Not on the.
Oh, wait, hold on a
He's
second. Why am I
still
doing
got-
this? George Floyd was able to move his head back.
Wait. If Crowder, hold on. No. If Crowder's able to move his head that easily, randomly there, then the majority of his weight is back here, not on the actual neck. What the hell? Is it gonna be
You do
this
think
the whole
somebody's
time?
on a lethal narcotic and
Wait. And now you've got it on the... You're not on the neck
you
anymore.
know that this can affect their breathing.
They
it
didn't.
may not be the
They
best.
Is there a reason? Is it because
On fentanyl, that could be
My-
deadly.
you're no longer on the
Yes.
neck?
This is if you
You've stopped being
This
on
is
the neck.
Uncomfortable for Tokunawan to be
Yeah.
doing this. To
And
be,
let's-
it's so different. Are you saying?
put up the photo.
You are still on the fucking shoulder. Is it this way the whole time?
entire time? I think we have a photo
And you
of
look
one-
deathly uncomfortable right now.
I'm very
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Of course it's not comfortable.
Restraint positions are not comfortable.
I'm not.
Handed to be put on the ground and kicked a cop. This seems like getting off easy and would be entirely appropriate. Look,
2 minutes to go.
you know what? Move it back to my neck since
Of course.
some people still believe that's a thing.
We're not in this.
That was the thing in the actual fucking photo, you dillhead. Oh my god. The whole thing just continues like that. Jesus, Steven. And what are we supposed to conclude from this? That because in this particular scenario... Wait, hold on. I have an idea. I have an idea. There's an angle that we're not even considering here. So, let's say that somebody is strangled to death. Okay? They're held up. You know, fucking Lady D from Resident Evil Village has you held up, strangling the shit out of you. You're yelling and screaming harder. And then you die. And then during the court case, some random asshole on YouTube has his incredibly tall lady friend hold him up by the neck for, what, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, however long it takes to strangle a person. I don't know. I've never done it that you know of. But let's say that that's happening, and this one random person on YouTube goes, "You see? Death from strangulation would be impossible because my partner has been choking me for 6 minutes, and all that's happened is my orgasm got stronger." To come to this conclusion, you've got to ignore everything the coroner says and pretend that your individual LARPing is scientific proof that somebody else could not have died in the way that you're arguing they died. But I think the more interesting thing is, why would Steven Crowder do this? What's the point? What's the reason? And I think we've got an answer, a pretty clear-cut one. Why did I blush? No, that's not what I wanted to do. We have ear wiggles for an answer. Okay? We're ear wiggling for an answer. The reason that George Floyd's death is something that Steven Crowder talks about is very simple. It makes him money. At the end of the day, he has an audience that is desperately wanting confirmation bias. He has an audience that is desperately wanting to feed their narrative that no, the police officer definitely did not have anything to do with Derek Chauvin's death. He apparently would have died anyway in his car, according to that line of logic. They are trying to argue that they can continue to suckle the boot of Uwu Daddy police officer. And I just don't find that a productive line of conversation. I don't. At the end of the day, regardless, here's the thing. Even if we accept Steven Crowder's premise that magically he's right and Derek Chauvin did have nothing to do with the death of George Floyd, even if we were to accept that premise wholesale, it would not get us to the important part of the conversation, which is about police brutality. We can sit here and debunk the methods of Steven Crowder for ages, as many people do on the internet. But the real mission here is appealing to an audience of people who don't want police reform because they think that the world is perfectly fine as it is. These people are status quo warriors, and they are thoroughly convinced that police brutality does A, not disproportionately affect black people, and B, is not a problem. And yet the reality is both. Not only is police brutality a problem disproportionately for African Americans, as I've done several videos on this topic with sourcing data for that to boot, but we've also got an incredibly bad problem of police brutality in the United States, period. And conversations like the ones that Steven Crowder is trying to elicit here distract from those greater problems. So why don't we go ahead and accept this for what it is? This is a distraction. Not only is it a distraction, it's a cruel one, meant to appeal to the lowest common denominator of intellectual thought that believes that their own cruelty is not a problem in the world. With that said, I want to know your thoughts. If you're watching this over on Twitch, let me know in the chat, but if you're watching this over on YouTube afterwards, then please give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Please support the channel and what I do by checking the description and finding ways you can do that in there. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Follow me over on Twitch if you haven't already. And as always, everyone, insert end of Fuck Steven Crowder here.